The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Irons Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham and Essex communities. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, Barking and Dagenham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of the video details of this stream on YouTube. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons. Hello, welcome to the West Ham Massive, whatever time of day it is around the world, whenever you're watching this. Please don't forget, as it says there, to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit the bell icon for alerts on new content and click all as well, and you'll be notified of anything that we do on the channel. We thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. Well, as I record this is now Friday evening. Now, I've done the Freiburg review, and obviously this followed on from on the Thursday afternoon, about 2 o'clock. It was announced the England squad for the matches against Australia and the Euro 2024 qualifier against Italy as well. So the games are sort of coming back to back. Now, from a West Ham perspective, there were 2 names that I think that a lot of West Ham fans were looking for. And Jared Bowen got a call up to the England squad. Gareth Southgate decided that the West Ham forward had done enough to get into the squad on this particular occasion. I'm not saying he's wrong. However, one very noticeable absentee was our very own James Ward-Prowse. Now, again, there's been a little bit of consternation, a little bit of puzzlement at the omission of West Ham United number 7, who has had a brilliant start to the season. I would say equally as good as Jared Bowen in a different way, but a different sort of output that he generates. But I would say that in terms of quality, I think that he is the equal of what Jared Bowen has managed to bring to the table. So I think he can probably count himself quite unlucky that he didn't get into the squad. But then again, it got me thinking, do we really want our West Ham players who are qualified to play for England? Do we really want them to represent the national team? Now, on the one hand, it is a massive, massive honour to represent your country. Once upon a time, it was considered the pinnacle of your career to represent your country. You go back to 1966. Obviously, we all know as West Ham fans, we've all been told the stories about 1966. We can see the footage. It's readily available at the touch of a button these days. You go on the internet, YouTube, whatever, bang, you can see footage of Bobby Moore lifting the Jules Rimet trophy, footage of Jeff Hurst banging in the first, and up till December of last year, only World Cup hat-trick in the final. And Martin Peters getting another goal into the bargain. Obviously, a lot of us West Ham fans take a great deal of pride in that, and we often use the statement that West Ham won the World Cup in 1966. But then you fast forward to the modern era, year 2023, the Premier League. The world has changed, and a lot of things around it. And I do wonder, is it as big a deal as it used to be back then? I would argue not. And I can only say, as a West Ham fan, probably in recent years, probably about the last 15 years or so, my thoughts on England have massively shifted. Once upon a time, I was someone that was watch England matches very regularly, whether they were friendlies, whether they were qualifiers, whether they were tournament matches, whatever. I'd always make sure to watch them. In recent years, for a number of reasons, that's not quite been the case. But if we're talking purely in terms of the players, there's probably two reasons why I look at players who are English, and I do wonder whether we actually want them to represent England. And there's two examples I'll give of this. Now, the first one is a fairly recent example, and it's Declan Rice. Now, I believe that to a large degree, not entirely, but I do believe to a large degree, the seeds for Declan Rice's departure from West Ham United were sown when he went away on England international duty. I believe that when he went away on England international duty, there were conversations that took place between Declan Rice and his contemporaries. It's bound to happen. Look, we know it goes on. And I would imagine that there would have been conversations, something along the lines of, the facilities at Arsenal are brilliant. The facilities at Manchester City are fantastic. The coaching's on a next level at Liverpool, so on and so on and so on. And there's Declan Rice at little old West Ham, training at Rush Green, struggling against relegation battles, all the rest of it, possibly getting a little bit of the old green-eyed monster. And I do honestly believe that it was largely that sowed the seeds for Declan Rice's departure from West Ham United. I wonder, in a parallel universe, if Declan Rice had maybe not quite been in the England picture for whatever reason, if there were just better players than him, if maybe he had a personality clash with the manager or whatever, if there was a parallel universe where Declan Rice didn't get the England call-ups that he did get, would he still be West Ham captain? Would he still be a West Ham player? I don't know. Maybe. Now, I appreciate that when an English player gets an international call-up, you'll probably find a byproduct of that is that their inherent value goes up. So I guess you can't have your cake and eat it. If we hadn't have had Declan Rice, the England international, would he have commanded the fee that we got from Arsenal, 105 million quid, including the add-ons? Possibly not. But then we'd have still had Declan Rice as a West Ham player. So does one possibly outweigh the other? I don't know. I'm just simply asking a question. You've obviously got your opinions on this. You've got a comment section below. Get stuck into it. Another reason why I have a little bit of a reluctance for English players to get called up for international duty, and this one goes a little bit further back. Older people will remember this guy with a great deal of fondness, and his name was Dean Ashton. And Dean Ashton came to us from Norwich City in about 2005, 2006, played and scored in the FA Cup final, and was a player that everybody was looking at, was very much a mix of Alan Shearer and Teddy Sheringham, the two England strikers of the day. And everybody had high hopes for him. Very likely, we probably knew that he probably wouldn't be at West Ham for very long if things carried on the way they were. Sure enough, the England call-up came, and he's at a training session. I believe it was at Old Trafford from memory. It was in the Steve McLaren era. Successful that was. And I believe it was in the last training session, the day before the match, that Dean Ashton was going to make his debut, and his ankle got shattered in a cruel twist of fate. And I believe from memory it was Sean Wright-Phillips. Apologies if this is incorrect, but I'm pretty sure that is the facts. And although Dean Ashton came back after an extended period out of football, He was never quite the same, and eventually he had to retire as a direct result of that. We never saw the best of Dean Ashton. We lost a player that we could have got an awful lot of value out of on the pitch, and we could have got an awful lot of value for as and when his departure would have happened from West Ham, which I believe it would have inevitably happened. So there are two examples of West Ham players qualified to play for England getting call-ups for the national team, one of whom left us fairly soon after, and probably the seeds of his departure were sown in conversations that he had with his teammates, comparing notes, as you do. Let's be honest. It's something we all probably do. If you're working for a company in a certain industry, you've probably got mates in that industry that work for other companies, and you compare notes and you sort of you maybe get a little bit of the green-eyed monster. And I do believe that's what happened with Declan Rice. Or alternatively, in the case of Dean Ashton, where you get some sort of injury and you're never quite the same. And I do wonder whether actually the fact that James Ward-Prowse didn't get the England call-up might actually be a blessing in disguise. And conversely, whether actually Jared Bowen getting called up, the fact that he, as I said in my previous video, that he's coming to a very crucial point at his time at West Ham United. It's stick or twist time. He's in the last less than 24 months now of his contract. And is he possibly going to be going on international duty? Obviously, Declan Rice will be there. Will Declan Rice be telling Jared Bowen, hey, it's great at Arsenal, the facilities at London Colney, the training from Mikel Arteta. I love West Ham, Jared, but this is next level. You've got to come here, mate. Do you know what I mean? Or even if it's not Dec, maybe one of the other players, maybe a player like, I don't know, a Trent Alexander-Arnold or someone like that, a Liverpool player. Because I think that, again, it's fairly well established that Mohamed Salah will very likely be gone in the summer. And I do wonder whether there's going to be some movement from Jurgen Klopp and he looks at Jared Bowen as a ready-made replacement. And I wouldn't blame him if he did, by the way. But it doesn't serve our purposes at all for players to get called up for England and for this sort of thing to be going on behind the scenes. Like I say, I'm putting forward a hypothesis. I'm putting forward some opinions. You guys might think something completely different. You might actually think, no, getting called up for the England national team is still something that we take a great deal of pride in. It's still something that we would like. It's still something that we advocate. And you're wrong, Gatesy. That's fine. Not a problem. You've got a comment section below. Get stuck into it and let me know your thoughts on it. As I always say, guys, thanks for joining me. And please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. Please do remember to click all as well. And as and when any new content is added to the channel, as if by magic, you will be notified. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. Please also don't forget to support the Iron Supporting Food Bank charity, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Come on, you Irons. The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Irons Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham and Essex communities. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, Barking and Dagenham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of the video details of this stream on YouTube. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons.